Each week, we welcome to our NfG stage one of our talented members who can speak properly or special guests with something designed to help you and your business. Our next guest is welcome back to our stage to bring us some more pearls of wisdom. Although I believe in recycling, I'll try not to do so with his introduction. Our speaker began life in the retail world. Although fortunate to inherit a successful working business, he soon realized that the roadmap for his life was not the road on which he wished to travel. And during the process of that realization that he was a round peg trying to fit into a square hole, he became even more rounded with his own personal development, before finally deciding to sell his business while learning even more valuable lessons. Taking those business and passion lessons for coaching and mentoring, he decided to set up his own coaching academy to help others like him to find the right track for them and their business, creating freedom while also bringing business success. With a talk entitled Leadership is a Skill, Not a Position, we welcome back to the NfG stage, Mark Terrell. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you very much for that fabulous intro. I always look forward to intros. So I've got a presentation about leadership. The first thing I want to ask, though, before I do that is who in the room regards themselves as a leader? Do you want to press one of your reactions or do something? Lots of hands, that's great. So that's one question. Another question is, who in the room needs to positively influence others? And that question always gets more hands up or reactions because, well, it's essentially what I've asked you is the same question as far as I'm concerned. I think leadership is about positively influencing others. And I'm going to share with you 6 things around leadership that we can all use on a day-to-day basis that will hopefully inspire you to use one of them. There's 6 of them, but if just one of them you take away from today that you can then use. So I've called it my leadership jukebox. It'll all become apparent why it's called the jukebox in a second. So without further ado, I'm going to kick off the leadership jukebox. I was going to ask if you could hear that, but as the way that Richard was swaying along, obviously you could hear that. So that's the first one. The first one is, do you know where you're going to? So leadership is about having a vision and then being able to share that vision with others. If you can't actually describe what the vision is and then communicate it to others, then you're not really going to be able to lead anybody. So it's essential to be able to know where you're going. And there's 3 elements I talk about a lot is know what you're doing, how you want to do it, and most importantly, why you want to do it, and communicate that. So first thing that you need to do if you're going to lead anybody is have a vision and communicate it. That's number 1. Over to number 2. I can see Richard enjoying this. Obviously a Spice Girl fan. Yeah, we all obviously need some zigga zigga, but actually what we need to be is actually explicit in our language. So connecting to the first one, understanding that we've got to communicate clearly and explicitly what we really want. So trying to avoid vagueness. If we're vague, then what we get in return is what we've actually communicated. So being clear and explicit is as a taught skill, but if we can be more explicit and understand that we've got to get a message over about how, why, and what we're doing, then it would all be better in regards to leading any group, not just in business. So that's number 2. Over to the next one, number 3. Knowing me, knowing you. Well, this is about self-awareness, essentially. If we know about ourselves, understand ourselves, we know our behavioral styles, we know what motivates us, we are going to be a much better leader. But then we can also tune into what other people want as well. And that's probably going to be different to ours. So we're going to lead any sort of group. We've got to remember that what motivates us and what the way we do things might be completely different to the way that our team does. And in that's actually a really good thing, because you don't want a group of clones. That's the worst thing you can create, is a team of clones, because all you do is just do things one way and you don't expand and learn. So it's really important to understand yourself, and so you can then understand people better. And that's the knowing me, knowing you scenario. So let's crack on. Time's ticking by. So number 4 coming right up. So do the right thing. I think leadership is all about doing the right thing, isn't it? But actually it's more to do with, actually in this case, it's what Pippa was talking about a couple of weeks ago, feedback. And in particular, catching people doing things right. If we don't catch people doing things right, when we need to bring them back on track because they're doing something wrong, we are really in a poor position. People want to know that they're making a difference. They want to be appreciated. So we've all got to realize that just noticing things and telling people what they've done has made a difference. And just by doing that 4 or 5 times more often than we catch people doing things wrong, we're in a better position to lead, because you will get more respect and people will listen to you because they know that you're not there just to catch them doing things wrong all the time. So this one is about doing the right thing, but catching people doing the right thing as well. So that's number 4. Number 5 coming right up. So don't stand so close to me is very much about people that have just stepped into some sort of leadership role. Again, let's not just think about business whenever we're leading people. What we need to do is have that little bit of distance. If we're too close and we're still part of the team, then it's like football when people try to be the player manager. It never works. It might for a short term, but never does long term. So we need to create a little bit of distance from our team, not being a distance so that people don't come to us, but being a little bit remote and approachable. That slight distance from our team is important, and we can also make that mistake of becoming too close to our team and people don't really see us as the leader. So that's number 6. That's number 5. So number 6 and the final one coming right up. I don't know what's happened to Adrian. He's just lost it. You're right there, mate. Cruel to be kind is about being equally challenging and supportive, but also showing positive regard and genuineness in equal measures. So the easiest way to explain this and show how important it is if we are overly supportive, when we have a group that we are leading, we get into the position of where we are the problem solver. We solve everyone's problems. They come to us for a problem, we solve it, and then they go off away and do it. So that's the overly supportive way. The overly challenging way is to say, you're here to do a job, get on with it. I'm not here to do your job for you. So very, very challenging. What we need to have is actually a balance of those two things. And that's where the cruel to be kind in the right measures is the key, is to get that balance right between support and challenge. That's where you want to be with regards to leadership. So conscious of the time, I will just refresh what I've gone through. So the leadership jukebox. Number 1, know where you're going, have a vision. Number 2, be clear and explicit in your language and how you explain things. Number 3, be self-aware so you can understand yourself and others. Number 5, catch people doing things right because they need to know that they are making a difference. Number 5, be a little bit remote in approach, but still approachable. And finally, number 6, show positive regard and genuineness. That is the Jukebox, and that is exactly 10 minutes.